All right, so in this training, I really want to share with you how to get more of your emails opened. And originally, it was going to be 12 different things you can do. Now it's 16 things that you're going to do because I kept adding to this all day long as I was preparing to put this training together. And here's the thing, if you don't get your emails opened, then everything else that you've been figuring out, everything else you've been putting into your emails, everything else you've been doing to build your email list is a total waste of time. Because if no one's opening your emails, what's the flipping point? So we've got to get our emails opened. And today, it is harder than ever to get your emails open because people are getting more emails. They're more distracted. They've got more channels. And they are more savvy, more aware of marketing. And, thanks, Liz. Thank you. Superstar Liz Wilcox there, everybody. So let's share now some strategies, some techniques to actually get more of those emails actually open so more people get to enjoy your content, get your lessons, get the value, and of course, more people can engage with your offers. Whether you're doing a launch, you've got something evergreen, it really doesn't matter. Now, just a little bit of a disclaimer before we go in any of this. Obviously, it's your responsibility to make sure you're doing all of this stuff in a way that is aligned, first of all, legally, and secondly, with you personally. There might be some stuff that I share during this which is beyond what you are comfortable doing based on your brand or what you would never say or never do. That is fine. What I want to make sure I'm giving you today is a lot of options, and you can pick and choose these. The more of these things you can use, the better, but they're not all going to align with you. And like anything I teach, like anything anybody teaches, you've got to take it and apply it to how you want to do things, right? So, let's get into it. Are we all ready? Are we ready? Let's do this. All right, cool. So the first one is to send at the same time, right? And what I mean by this is in your automations, if you've got automations set up, sending at the same time at 24-hour intervals is going to be your friend. And it's going to be your friend because you know that at that very time, let's say I sign up to your email list and it's 8:22 p.m. because I happen to be on my phone. I see your ad, I see your lead magnet, or I see your newsletter, and I enroll in your newsletter. You know that that's the time that I happen to be available. That might be the only time of the day that I'm checking that email account, for example, right? So if you set up your automations to be 24-hour wait times, not 1 day wait times, they are different, right? In some platforms. But in many platforms, you want to set it up to be a 24-hour wait time, not a 1 day wait time. Because for some platforms, 1 day means just wait till it's the next day and it might process all of its next day at 8 a.m. Pacific time or something. So 24 hours. The other thing you could do with sending at the same time is you could base when the next email is sent based on 24 hours of when that person last interacted, opened, or clicked. Because now it means that the person doesn't actually feel like they are getting tons and tons of emails from you. They know that it's like 24 hours. It's like it's a full day between when they see emails from you. And it also means you will reduce this feeling of, oh, I get tons of emails from that person. They only ever get one email every 24 hours, okay? So send an email at the same time. And of course, just to like give you the full picture, I'm going to basically look like I'm going to contradict myself for a second, and that is to send at different times. So the second of these is to send emails at different times to act as a pattern interrupt, okay? So yes, you might send your newsletter, your regular content, your emails always at 10 a.m. But if you really want to interrupt people's pattern and you want to capture them and capture their attention when they're in a different mental state to what they're normally reading your emails at, then send it at a different time. And my advice is you do both. You're thinking, how do I send them at the same time at different times? Come on, Candy, you've lost your mind. The peroxide's finally gone to your brain. Well, what you do is you send your regular newsletter at say 10 a.m. every day. But if you've got a special announcement, you might send a second email later in the day saying, by the way, just to remember this. And that means you're going to be hitting people when they're in a different psychological state. Because if they're always receiving your emails and reading your emails at 10 o'clock, they might be in work mode. But if you send another email at like 7 p.m., just while dinner's cooking, you've now got them in chill out mode. You are tapping into a different psychological state of that same person. Okay? So consider those two things. And like I said, you don't have to do all of these things, right? Hopefully these are making sense. This is all making sense. If you're here with me live, let me know that this is all making sense so far. I am going to pick up the pace again in a second. But just let me know that you indeed, this is all making sense and I haven't gone completely mad. Making sense? Okay, cool. All right. So, next one is the open loop. This is one you've probably heard before, but I wanted to make sure it was in there, all right? And this is the idea that you say, hey, and I'm going to give you 2 different ways of applying this open loop. 3 different ways of applying the open loop. One of them is to say, hey, over the next few days, I'm going to be sending you here's the 3 ways to do X. And then in this email, you say, way number 1 is blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, what's number 2? What's number 3? They're going to expect that part 2 and part 3 are coming tomorrow. That's a really indirect way of doing it. The second way is the standard way that you see a lot of people doing, which is to say, hey, and I'll show you how to do X tomorrow. Watch out for tomorrow's email. I'm going to show you big, exciting, sexy, attractive thing. The final way of doing an open loop that I really like to use, and this works really, really well, is to send an email about an email, right? And what you do to send an email about the email is you say, by the way, so you've done your whole email about whatever today's content is, and then you say, by the way, tomorrow, I'm going to send you an email at 3 p.m. The subject line is blah, 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 blah. Watch out for it. It'll be 3 p.m. tomorrow. So you're creating like an anticipation loop. It's not just a normal open loop. It's like you're putting that particular email up on a pedestal, making it important and raising its status. Right? Raising its status. I'm going to give you another technique in a moment, in a few tips time, about another way of putting a particular email on a pedestal and raising its status. Okay? Actually, what I just did there was actually an open loop. It's true, by the way. I'm going to give you one of those things. But that is an open loop. I am teasing you into the rest of the content. You can do that with the next email in the sequence. All right? Or the next email you're going to send, your next newsletter, whatever. Okay. The next one is using what I call compound curiosity subject lines, right? Compound curiosity subject lines. I've got a full training that we talk about this inside of our Email Hero Blueprint, but let me just give you the synopsis of what I really mean by that. A lot of people will use 2 types of subject lines. They will use benefit-driven subject lines like how to X thing, or the best ways I know to like benefit-driven subject lines. The problem with them is they stink of marketing. People know when they see one of those things, it is marketing. And that's not always a bad thing. You still want to use some of those things if you know that it's going to be a thing that people are going to really want to solve that problem. But that's one type of subject line. Another type of subject line people talk about is you have to have curiosity in your subject lines. And a curious subject line might be something like, my girlfriend will freak. And then the people are like, oh, what is that subject? What are they talking about? And they're going to open up the email and find out what the girlfriend is going to freak about. That is is this the best way to generate leads in 2024? Curiosity, right? Blind old curiosity. But in a world where everybody else, in a world where everybody else is doing curiosity subject lines, we need to go further. And because we're also exposed and overexposed to curiosity in teasers for TV shows, ads everywhere, we're so exposed and jaded to curiosity, what we have to do instead is use compound curiosity. So let's take that subject line of my girlfriend will freak and change it to compound curiosity just by saying, do you think she'll freak? ? Do you think she'll freak is a way more compelling subject line because we have multiple questions about that subject line. We have more itches in our brains that need scratching by opening up the email. Do I think? So you're asking my opinion? Okay, that's one itch. Do I think she'll freak? Who is she? Is it my mum? Is it somebody you know? Somebody I know? Is it, like, who is it? Is it somebody you know? Is it somebody you don't know? And freak about what? And freak in a good way, freak in a bad way. Lots of questions are being created by doing that. But please be very careful not to confuse compound curiosity with really fucking vague curiosity. Like really boring, really vague subject lines. We need to be specific, but we want to do it in a way that's hyper amplified and has more questions in it. Okay? That's compound curiosity subject lines. We'll get more people opening. The next thing is to vary the subject line length and create a visual difference in the inbox. Almost nobody I know does this. So if you usually have like 4, 5, or 6 word subject lines, so does everybody else. Like, you're probably on the email list of all the people who your subscribers are on their email list. And if you're not, you should be, right? You should be. And what you want to do before you write the next email, go in there, have a look at all the other emails that your list is your subscribers are definitely receiving from all the people they're definitely receiving them by, and look at the length of those subject lines. They're all going to be pretty similar. They're all going to be 4, 5, 6 words long. So every now and again, to stand out visually in the inbox, do a one word, especially a short word, as the subject line. And again, that's visually going to magnetize their attention and go, I'm gonna look at that. And if the word happens to be good, happens to be a word that they're curious about, then they're going to open it. All right. So think about the subject line length to create visual difference in the inbox. Next, email deliverability. Truth is, if your emails are not even being delivered into people's primary inbox, they can't even be seen to be opened. So all the email marketing platforms these days boast, pretty much all of them are saying they get a 99% email deliverability rate, right? Their delivery rate is different to the deliverability rate. The deliverability is actually where it gets placed. Does it go to spam? Does it go to promos tab? Does it go to the primary inbox that they're actually going to see? Does it get blacklisted and held in quarantine before it even gets there? Like, how good is that? Really focus on making sure you've got all of your email deliverability and your spam compliance and your list hygiene all in order, and you will get more people to see your emails, all right? Awesome sauce. Number 7 is use some emojis in your subject lines. Don't do it all the time. Do it if it's on brand. Like everything I'm saying today, only do it if it's on brand. But here's some examples. A little wave. Why sales are so slow and hard. That was an email I think I sent out yesterday or the day before. A little siren thing light. Starting now. Does this make me a shithead? You know, if that, again, only do it if it suits your brand. Some brands are like, I can't use emojis. Don't use emojis then. That's cool, okay? You can't use all of these things for every brand. And the same when we're writing stuff for clients, so I'm doing client work or coaching people. Not all of these things work for every brand. But the more of these things you can do, the better. Number 8 is what I call creative personalization. Everybody talk like the age-old marketing wisdom is personalization works. And like, putting stuff in the subject line, which is tip for Mark or hey Mark, like that kind of stuff, kind of boring. Creative personalization you can use if you have more information. So if you've only got people's first names, like you could do something like this. Is it just people called Mark? Hang on. The context of using their name is really unusual, right? It's really interesting. Or if you've got people's addresses, maybe because they're customers or something like that, let's imagine you teach investing or something like that. If you taught investing, you could use a subject line like richest man on and then their street name. So if the person lives on Stevenson Drive, it'll say richest man on Stevenson Drive. That's getting opened because they're like, who is the richest man on my street? And how do you know that? Really interesting. And you tell the story about how the richest people you know or the wealthy people you know invest in this stock or that stock. You've got to make sure it's relative. And that's a really important thing. I don't want to do any tricky subject lines. I'm not into using, like, if you ever send me an email that starts off with re or FW like it's forwarded, and it's not really a re or a forward. I did a poll in this group about how much that pisses people off, and it pisses most people off. It's scammy, it's bullshit. Right? And if it's the same with like scammy, tricky subject lines, like get the email open at all costs. Like if you put a subject line which is like refund. Like, and then the email, like, has nothing to do with refund. It's just about getting the email opened. Well, yeah, you achieved the initial goal of, like, getting the email open, but also the person read the rest of the email is pissed off, hates you, doesn't want to buy from you again, and your internal representation, your internal reputation with that person is damaged forever, then that's not a good win. Like, remember, the ultimate goal here is to book sales calls, get appointments, make course sales, get people registered for a wait list, fill up your launch, right? Remember the actual outcome. It's not just to open the email, so don't do it at all costs. And then, and another example of these creative personalizations is when people join our email list, one of the things we ask people is, which email platform do you use? That's relevant to us. And there'll be something that's relevant to what you teach and what you do and what you help people out with, right? That means if you collect that bit of information at the point of entry, you can use it in really cool ways. The only reason we collect which platform people are using is because we want to use it in this subject line, because it gets crazy good opens, and that is, stop wasting your GHL subscription. So if you've got Aweber, it will say, stop wasting your Aweber subscription, stop wasting your Keep subscription, stop wasting your ActiveCampaign subscription. Why? Because it's creatively personalized. Does this make sense about how you can... I want you to start thinking about personalization in a way that's not just, well, stick the name in and it looks kind of personalized. Like robotic bullshit that we're all overexposed to, right? All right. Hopefully this is useful and you're finding this is all making sense for you. Cool? Next is split test your subject lines. This is going to get you a better open rate, okay? This is what I do every single day, pretty much every single day, right? And I'll send a version 1 out, so I'll type my email up, and I'll come up with 2 different subject lines. I'll show you how I come up with subject lines in a second, a really cool shortcut that I think you'll really like. It's really, really fast, and it works brilliantly. And I'll type in version 1, send the same email with that subject line to 10% of the list. Then I'll take the same email and I'll send a different subject line to another 10% of the list. And then I'll wait a bunch of hours, 4 hours or so, and then send the winner of those 2 to the remaining 80% of the list. That, of course, means I'm going to get a better open rate because I'm sending the better performing subject line to the vast majority of the list, right? Always split test your subject lines. It's really, really simple. All right? Next, think about the first 5 words that are in the email. Don't waste them, right? You could personalize them, right? Think about those first 5 words. Don't waste them with, hey, I hope you're doing well. Oh my God, really? Do something like those first 5 words are like another subject line. They're like another headline. Use those first 5 words. Next, expecting your emails. One of the biggest reasons people see a huge drop-off in the number of people opening their emails is because they weren't expecting to get your emails. And this is the big myth around lead magnets, right? So think about it. Someone shows up to a page and they see a thing they can download from you. Your top 10 tips to salsa dance in the dark. All right, great. Yes, I want that. How much is it? Oh, the cost is, give us your email address. They put the name and email address in and go. You send them an email with the top 10 tips to salsa dance in the dark. And as far as they're concerned, the transaction is complete. The loop is complete. The relationship has gone to fruition. They give you their email address. You gave them the book, the PDF, the tips. Done. So instead, on that opt-in page, on that registration page to get your lead magnet, you'll notice that we have on everything, and I want you to have on everything, get this cool thing and receive my daily tips about this thing, or receive my weekly newsletter, or receive my 3 times a week thing. Set the expectation up before they even enroll in your newsletter, before they even download your lead magnet. Because now it's not a surprise when they receive an email from you. No one likes surprises. Nobody. Next one, which is, turns out it's going to be 10.2. So that's probably 17 of these now. Turns out numbering isn't my friend. Subject line emotions. Switch the emotion. There will be some probably one, sometimes two default emotions that you always use in your subject lines. Switch out those emotions so you appeal to different people. Otherwise, if your default is always doing subject lines which are about giving people hope, then only the other people on your list who also resonate with hope the most are going to open those emails. Switch it around to being motivational, scarcity, urgency, fear, humor, any kind of different emotions. Look for different emotions to use in your subject lines to attract different people to open those subject lines. Okay? Next is value. Hang on, I've obviously gone absolutely wild here with these slides. So, forget the yellow words underneath. Value is about making sure there's actually value in your emails. And the reason this is important for getting them opened is because your email is not being seen in isolation. Please remember this. So many people get this wrong, especially affiliate marketers are really bad at this. Somebody who's getting your email today mostly likely got your email yesterday, got another email from you yesterday or in the past, which means your email today is going to perform based heavily on their response to the last email they got from you. If I got an email a week ago from some guy who was totally scammy, gave me no value and was just really mean, when I get his email today, I'm going to not even open that email because of the reputation that person has in my head. So make sure there is a good amount of value in your emails, so when people receive your emails, they're like, I'm going to open that because I'm probably going to learn something. I'm going to get some value. And that value might be, it might be that you learned something. It might be that you became aware of something, that you became motivated, or you had a bit of a laugh, or you became inspired. There's lots of different types of value. Permission is another great type of value you can give people. In the coaching world, people often just need permission to go and do something, don't they? Your students as a coach, right? So make sure there's value in your emails so people have got a reason to keep opening your emails. Otherwise, if your emails are only full of sales pitches, the only time someone would want to open your emails will be to find out what you're selling next. That's only one dimension. That's only one reason to open your emails. We want more than that. We want them to open your emails to find out what you might teach them or what you might have available, to find out what it could possibly be. Okay? Number 12-ish, because I cocked up the numbering system. Don't trust me. Granular opt-out. One of the biggest, most important things in making sure people want to keep opening your emails and engaging emails is making sure your emails are relevant. But within our businesses, we can slice things in different ways. We can talk about different elements. 1 minute, I might be talking about subject lines. The next minute, I might be talking about list building. And then I might be talking about how to do an affiliate promotion. Not everybody's interested in every little slice of the small area of email marketing, the precise area of email marketing, right? So that means if they're going to get a whole bunch of emails for a week about that thing you're talking about, it's not that interesting to them because they don't give a toss about it. That means they won't realize when they can start paying attention to you again. They're going to be like, oh, that's the person I ignore because they're talking about a thing I don't care about. Whereas if you give a little link in the bottom of an email that says, hey, don't want to hear about, let's say I'm talking about subject lines, right? Don't want to hear about my subject line method? Just click here and you'll resume receiving my emails once we finish this promotion. People flippin' love that. Not only do they love it and it keeps it relevant, but also they're engaging, they're clicking. That's giving some good engagement statistics to help with your email deliverability. It's one of the many things you can do to help with your email deliverability. So let people opt out from particular promotions, okay? Next, signposting. And this is one of the things I sort of alluded to earlier with how do you place your email on a pedestal? How do you improve and vastly increase an email status? And what you do to do this is you support your email with another channel, right? And that means you might send them an SMS, a WhatsApp, a community message, like a thing in your Facebook group, or a Facebook DM or an Instagram DM. And you say, hey, so imagine you got an SMS that says, hey, I just sent you a quick email. I think you'll like it. You're going to, how much more important does that email now seem? I'm going to go dig that email out. I'm not going to wait until I'm next to my email inbox. I'm going to go dig that damn thing out. And I'm not going to pay attention to any of the other stuff because I am like honed in on finding that email. Number 14, speedy follow-up. When someone opens an email or clicks a link, you could send them another email while they're still in their email inbox. So imagine you've got an automation which is, it waits until the person engages and immediately, not a wait, no 10-minute wait, not an hour, not a day, nothing. Immediately sends them another email. Why would you do that? You would do that because they're already in their email inbox. And if you can keep their attention the way that scrolling through Reels and TikToks and Netflix shows does, that's what we're going to do. Okay? And related to that is a technique we call the page turner technique. And that is at the bottom of an email, you can say, hey, and tomorrow I'm going to teach you X thing. Don't want to wait till tomorrow? Click here, get tomorrow's email today. This is working very well for us. We use this in 2 different email campaigns in our business, including our welcome sequence, and it is killing it. Because what does it allow people to do? It allows people to binge the depth of your relationship. This was inspired, by the way, by Netflix, allowing you to like sort of, what's the next episode? Binge, right? And what does that mean? It means they're going to click to say, yes, I want tomorrow's email. And then they're going to go to their inbox and they're going to find that email and they're going to open it. Why? Because they asked for it. And that could be, hey, get tomorrow's email. Doesn't have to just be that. It could be, click here if you want me to email you this resource, this checklist, this PDF, this link to this Google Doc, this YouTube video I just made. Click. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. And then the next, and they get an email immediately saying, hey, thanks for clicking to say you wanted my YouTube video. Here's the link to it. What does that do? It means they're opening your emails. You're training them to open your emails. You're getting good engagement levels from that first email where they click the link to get the YouTube video, and they're going to click now and go and watch the YouTube video. Hello? This is amazing for email deliverability. Showing your reputation to Gmail and all of its brethren. Yeah? Okay, brilliant stuff. Number 16-ish. I think it's actually number 17 because I cocked up the numbering, so thanks for bearing with me while I be an absolute amateur with the basic concept of numbering. Like, it's a little bit embarrassing. Timing. Last thing to consider is thinking about the timing. We talked about timing right at the very beginning of this list, but also think about what is the timing of everything else this person is receiving. So, for example, if you email people who work in corporations, chances are they start work anywhere between 8 a.m. and 9:30, which means by 9:30, 10 o'clock, they are going to have cleared out their overnight email and their inbox is going to be nice and fresh and organized. So send them an email at 10. So it's not just another email that you have to choose, which one should I pay attention to? Because I've got all these to clear out. You're not in the clear out list. You're in that's the only email I've got. So if you've got an understanding of your audience in that way, then do that. All right? So there's 16 different ways. I've got one more thing for you. 16 different ways of significantly increasing how many people open your emails. Do you see how these are they're quite unique and quite different. They're pretty advanced, but they're pretty simple to implement, which is like the way I like things. Advanced, but simple. Now, one of the things I did talk about is different ways of doing subject lines, compound curiosity, all these different things, using emojis sometimes, using different lengths of email. And I'm going to tell you a little thing I've been doing. In the background for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been training a GPT, my own private GPT, to write subject lines that are not those awful sort of boring marketing subject lines that ChatGPT usually produces. But I've also been training it to write subject lines that beat mine. You know the A/B testing I was telling you about earlier, how we A/B test the different subject lines? 80-something%, it's just over 80% of the time, the subject line that my GPT writes beats my handwritten subject line, and I'm pretty experienced at writing this stuff. And I'm not just telling you that to go, oh, I'm clever. I thought I'd actually give it to you. So if anybody wants to go and use my personal GPT that I've been training for the past 4 months to beat my own professional written subject lines, go to emailmarketingheroes.com/SAI, okay? which stands for subject line AI, by the way. Emailmarketingheroes.com/SAI, and it's free. Like, there's nothing to buy or anything like that. Like, you literally can just go and get instant access. All you need is a free ChatGPT account. It's all you need. If you've got a paid one, fine. Doesn't matter. You need a free ChatGPT account. Go to emailmarketingheroes.com/SAI and just go and use this. That's my gift to you for coming and watching this training. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a training I needed to create, and I thought, hey, I'll jump on live and create it live with you guys. I know a whole bunch of lovely human beings have joined me on here, so that's really nice of you. Hi, Helena. Linley's here. There's a whole bunch of you. It's all off the screen now, but it's so nice to have you here. I hope you found this valuable. And I hope that you've gone and got some ideas that you can go and use. I really want you to go and use this stuff. I mean, this is not about just sharing nice ideas, but this is stuff I really want you to go and use to get more of your emails open so more people can understand you, can understand your brand, can understand what you can do for them, and ultimately can understand why they should be applying for your programs, why they should be getting in touch, booking onto calls, joining waitlist, getting involved with your launch and buying your stuff. That's what we want to do, all right? Super generous gift, great training, good reminders and ideas. Going to go write an email now. I hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you, Liz. Maria says that was great and time was good as well. Got a lot of value out spending too much and not so much superfluous chatter. You are welcome. Trying to keep it lean and mean over here. Thank you so much. Awesome as always, says Claire. Lovely love. Hi, Carol. It's been a hot little minute, hasn't it? I hope you're doing okay. Fabulous stuff. Well, hey, I've enjoyed doing this. I might do one of these again in the future. Was this quite a fun sort of way of doing things? Would you be interested in other topics in the future? Let me know, and we might do some. If you've got ideas for topics that you'd like me to cover, this is obviously talking about getting more emails open, but I might do one of these again sometime. Haven't got any decisions on that. I literally made the decision to do this morning, so that's how planned and strategic we're being right now. Yes, do it again. Right on. Okay, fabulous. All right, cool. Well, subject line hero is awesome. Use it today. Yes, Mitch. Very good. I use it every bloody day, every single day. Hey, Andrew. Fabulous. All right, cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm going to bugger off now and have a lovely weekend, and I will catch you all very, very soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.